Okay, here we are this afternoon at the Clock Tower in Leicester, and I've got with me James McLean of Streetlife Action Group and the legendary Captain. Hi guys. Can you tell us what you're doing here today?
Basically we're just making the public aware of what the council are actually proposing with the homeless services cuts, which is basically the closing down of the day centre and the closing down of 3 big hostels. So it's the loss of over 200 beds for homeless people. Now the council actually say, as I've discussed before, in their own documents, there's going to be an increase in demand on homeless services.
Yeah.
So to actually cut them is madness. So we're basically trying to get as much signatures as possible, giving out leaflets to make people aware of what's happening.
Great. Captain, you've got a lot of signatures down there on that. So
yeah.
What's the response been today by people?
I think it's fantastic, yeah. Everybody you ask, they want to sign because they know what it's like to be off. A few of their families been, what I've asked this morning, have been in a hostel system and they've been there and done it in all the t-shirts, so I'm the same and a few guys here are the same. And they know how it is to be in the cold like these guys here.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think the government could, like, it's another thing. They should be doing something about it, not just wasting people's lives and making people get cold and damp and everything else. They know how the situation is in this weather, and it could kill you anyway, like you say.
Yeah.
Hypothermia kills you.
People have already died this year due to being on the streets,
Yeah.
and that's not just in Leicester. This is happening all over the country.
Yeah.
I've just come back from a little fact-finding mission to London, and I stopped off in towns along the way. They've actually been doing this for the last 4 years now, and it all originates from Boris Johnson being City of London Mayor, and he actually started all these policies in the City of Westminster, which I was actually in London this week, and I've actually experienced the policies firsthand.
Yes. Now, obviously, we're interested in community media, and I've been really impressed with how the Streetlife sort of action group has come together over this issue and started your own magazine, own newsletter. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Well, basically, it basically stemmed from a speak out we had at the Charlesbury House.
Yeah.
Charlesbury House is a homeless health centre, which basically, because homeless people don't have addresses, they find it very difficult to get doctors and stuff, so that's where they go. And we had a speak out about all these proposed changes, because they were only proposed at this time. We basically decided there's no point in sitting about talking about it, let's actually do something about it. And we all basically, you were at that meeting yourself. The next week we actually had a meeting, and we've basically decided on this course of action that we're in the process of now.
Yeah. Do you think that will be a positive thing that comes out of this? The fact that, you know, yourselves are creating your own newsletter, we've got Tony doing the Rough Sleeper, the Down Not Out guys are doing their stuff, and we've actually come together more on this, haven't we?
And I think it's brilliant, these guys coming here today, like you say, they're doing just as good a job as what we're doing. Even though we're getting a lot of signatures, these guys are just, you know, fantastic, every one of them.
Yeah, and do you think the response you've had today is because you're being able to tell people what it's like really, and there's not enough information usually out there about
where there is today,
This is always the problem. It's not just the lack of information, it's misinformation that's out there. It's like these myths is partly what we're about, destroying these myths, because not every homeless person has a drug addiction or an alcohol addiction or mental health problems, and quite often, as we discussed at the speak out, these things actually come from being homeless, because there's not enough support for homeless at the moment. As we stand at the moment, there is still not enough support for the homeless people. There should be more money going into the budget, not less, to actually stop these problems from arising in future. Now, we actually have experienced this, like some of us have experienced this for a number of years, like for whatever reason. Me, myself, I'm a transient person. I go to different places, and that's just the way I've lived my life. I feel more comfortable that way, and I've seen it day in, day out, people just being abandoned by a system that's supposed to be there for everyone.
And it's not supposed to. It's everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, you see people on the street or at the train station where you go, in the back streets and that, and there's still a lot more, and I think it's going to treble or probably quadruple. So it's not very good for our guys to be on that street, because, like, you know, everybody's going to freeze, die, whatever.
Yeah. And what do you
it's horrible.
What do you think it will mean for Leicester if all these sort of like hostel beds go and things like that?
I think there'll be more on the street, more robberies, more crime, more policing, which I don't think there'll be more policing anyway because we've lost our the cut there as well.
Police officers have been cut.
That's right.
Condemns, as I like to call them, because that's what they are. They're condemning people to a life of misery. 4,000 police officers have been cut. Even the police, we've actually spoke to some police officers, PCSOs, and they actually have grave concerns about what's going to happen when all these cuts come into force. Now this is before any of the cuts have even come into force. We're 2 months away from what they actually call in their own policy documents apocalypse now. I've actually seen these documents, training documents that they're giving to homeless services staff that actually say apocalypse now. They actually know what these policies are doing. This is not something that they have taken lightheartedly. They have looked at this and they know what the repercussions are going to be. And so what does that tell you?
So the government ain't doing nothing for us or nothing for the people that are on the street. And also, I'm ashamed of Leicester's, like, not just MPs but a few other people as well, because they said
the lack of
by
empathy.
2015 there'll be houses for everybody. No way, absolutely no way. And we said this before.
Like, this is the thing, how can there be houses for everybody when there's no investment in proper infrastructure and social housing? Now, in one of these documents, one of these training documents, the government have actually identified one of the problems as being that 1% of people in social housing move every year and 25% of people in private rented accommodation move every year. I think they've got that backwards. The 1% actually stay, 99% staying in social housing shows that is not a problem. That is actually part of the solution. The 25% moving from private rented accommodation shows that is part of the problem. That is not part of the solution. They want private rented accommodation to be part of the solution. The only people that are going to benefit from that, private landlords.
That's it.
Simple as that. Because the government are still going to have to pay those rents. It's just they're going to have to pay them to more unscrupulous people. And they're the ones that are going to make money. So
every time, isn't it?
James, thank you.
Yeah, well,
Richard, thank you, and good luck with the campaign.
Thank you very much.